point number one, it's not for Carmelo Anthony to say it's stupid or not. Last time I checked, he's not an executive for the New York Knicks. He doesn't get to make that decision. They do. With that being said, it wouldn't be stupid at all because Blake Griffin is 4 years younger and he's locked in for the next 4 years. And if nothing else, he's to some degree box office to the point where that would help if you lost Carmelo Anthony. Now, me, I love me some Carmelo Anthony. I want him to stay in the New York Knicks uniform. I want him to be somebody that can carry this franchise to the promised land. I've just given up on the possibility of that happening, which is why I've been on the record, and I will state for the record, regardless of how he or anybody else in his camp feels about it, I am on the record saying that the New York Knicks, assuming they can get equitable compensation for him, should trade Carmelo Anthony. But I am not saying they should trade him because I don't like him, or because I don't love him being on the New York Knicks. I'm saying they should trade him because Carmelo Anthony started off this season by giving an interview where he publicly declared that he is looking forward to free agency. He said that with a big fat smile on his face when it was brought to his attention what he had said in a written article, and he didn't budge from it. Now, he also said he wants to remain a New York Knick, but he's looking forward to free agency, which kind of doesn't make any sense when you consider the fact that the New York Knicks are in a position to give him close to $30 million more than anybody else. So here I am, Skip, and they're in a position, the team I supposedly want to stay on, is in a position to give me close to $30 million more than anybody else, and I'm looking forward to free agency? I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm just not that intelligent. I don't know. But for me, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to make a statement like that. And the reason why, and I want to make sure, and boy, do I hope Carmelo Anthony is watching so there's no confusion, because I get misquoted all the time, and that really irritates me. Because I think I speak fluent English and I know what I'm saying. So it really bothers me when people misconstrue my words. But let me be very, very clear. And if you don't mind, I'm going to look in the camera when I say this. Carmelo Anthony, here's the deal. Nobody wants you to leave, but you sound like you want to leave. And as a result of that, if I'm the New York Knicks, this is not the Lakers, even though they made a mistake with Dwight Howard. Skip, remember, they got 16 championships. They have Lakers lore to lean on. The New York Knicks haven't won a championship since 1973. They have been to 2 NBA finals in 40 years. And I'm supposed to believe, stick out my chest and say, he ain't going anywhere? I'm supposed to believe as an organization that, you know what? I'm not worried about him. He'll stay with us. Really? That is why I am a proponent of moving Carmelo, because if I'm the Knicks, I don't trust that he would want to stay, because if I'm the Knicks, I'm not worth it right now. I kind of stink. I'm 10 games under 500. I'm nowhere in the championship conversation. Even if we resurrect ourselves and turn things around, I make the playoffs. We're not beating Indiana or Miami. So if I'm looking at it from that standpoint, I got to make sure that I don't position this guy to just leave me high and dry for nothing. Okay. That is why I'm a proponent of Carmelo Anthony being traded.
Okay, from a distance, Carmelo Anthony is a much better player than Blake Griffin.
Yes.
Period. End of story.
End of discussion.
So the whole idea of this trade is staggering to me, because I think the Clippers could win the West with Carmelo Anthony. Seriously. It put them right in the mix, no right doubt. At the top.
No doubt. It put them up there.
Because you know how much I love me some Spurs. I'd be thinking, wait a minute, they got Melo? Now, bottom line question, and I agree with you. I said it just as hard as you said it before the season started. It was on the eve of the season. I want to shop myself? Really? You say it just when you're coming off of, I always forget, is it 54 or 56? 54 wins.
54.
Pretty good. Yeah. Pretty by Knicks standards. It was great.
54 and the number 2 seed in the East.
Yeah. Okay. And all of a sudden you say, I know the new year's starting. No, I can't wait until it's over so I can play the field. Okay, bottom line, feet to fire. Do you really think he wants to leave? Is that where, have you concluded that he wants to leave?
I believe the way the Knicks are right now and the direction they appear to be going in, he does not want to stay. I think in a perfect world, this is where he would want to be. But because the Knicks are so flagrantly imperfect, I can't believe. Skip, I'm a native. Here's the deal. And let me say this in defense of Carmelo Anthony. I am a native New Yorker, born in the Bronx, raised in Hollis, Queens. I love me some New York City. I I would want to leave. That's how bad the New York Knicks, from an organizational standpoint, have been over the years. I would want to leave. So why would I think he'd want to stay?
Okay, so this potential trade is a cut your losses trade.
It's not a potential trade because the Clippers won't even entertain it.
Okay, I'm just going off Chris Broussard's report that there was some conversation
They did. I'm sure the Knicks reached out and called them.
Okay, but any trade then you would suggest from this point forward would be cut your losses kind of trade. I'm pretty sure where you're taking, what would it be, 50 cents on the dollar? You know, that kind of trade? I hate those. Yeah. Your leverage is next to nothing. You're just trying to cut your losses and get rid of Carmelo before he leaves you high and dry.
Right.
That means you basically have to give away Carmelo Anthony. That means you would come back next year in a deeper hole than you are this year.
Other point I wanted to make real quick. Carmelo Anthony has never once told me he wanted to be traded from the New York Knicks. There were reports out there that were saying that I said Carmelo Anthony said that. That is not true. Carmelo Anthony has never once said to me that he wants to be gone from the Knicks. He has never once said he wanted to be traded. This is my personal belief based on what the Knicks are doing and based on what I've heard he has said to other folks. Because you have a lot of people that are close to Carmelo Anthony or think they're close to Carmelo Anthony that swear up and down he's out of here because it's so bad in New York. Mike Woodson doesn't believe that. Steve Mills, the president and GM, does not believe that. Allen Houston probably doesn't believe that. Knowing James Dolan, he doesn't believe that. But if you're the New York Knicks, considering how haphazard this franchise is, do you really want to take the chance on losing him for nothing? I'm sorry. I don't want to take that chance. I wish they could have money this summer because you could re-sign Melo and then go after, next summer, then you'll go after somebody like Kevin Love. But Kevin Love ain't free until next year. And you got to make a decision this year.